I'm Grant Nelson, and welcome to Mustache Off Grid. Hi guys, this is Grant Nelson again here with the Mustache Off Grid YouTube channel. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit on how I cook a rabbit. I think it's called Hassenpfeffer. It's kind of a stewed style that I do. So that's what I'm going to show you today. You can fry it. You can pretty much substitute it for any chicken recipe, and it will work for cooking rabbits. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is how I particularly like to cook mine. It's the easiest way to cook them in my opinion. So I'll get into the video. Alright guys, so we got the rabbit in the pot here. You can see it curled up. I got the liver in there, you know, all that stuff. This is a cast iron pot. I cooked in it earlier, so I'm using some of the same grease and stuff. I just fried some potatoes in it. But so I got the rabbit in here. I washed it up. You guys probably seen that in the video. So this is a very simple way to cook rabbit. I would say it takes me roughly 20 minutes here on the propane stove. Roughly, I'd say 20 minutes. You know, it'll be done well. So all I'm doing is dry season it here. So I'm just gonna take some I don't know, garlic powder. Looks pretty good. We'll zoom out a little bit, I think. Well, you can zoom in, zoom out. What do we think here? Here's pretty good. So garlic powder, and you just both sides. Put a little on the kidneys. Both sides, garlic powder. You know, that's pretty standard for cooking. Throw some pepper on it. Flip the rabbit over. Put it on both sides. Kind of just whatever seasonings you think might be good. I'm going to use some Italian seasoning. I just use basic Walmart seasonings. Nothing too fancy. I really like their Italian seasoning though. Pretty good. A lot of people like to barbecue them. I like to eat it with barbecue sauce, but I don't really, I don't like them barbecued as much. I much prefer it the way like this. So just put some seasonings on there. Definitely don't want to forget salt. Whenever you're cooking, salt's such a simple ingredient, but usually works pretty well. You could probably use seasoning salt pretty good too. But so go both sides there. I'm actually going to put a little more salt. Even better than regular salt if you use garlic salt. It's pretty good. So put your salt in there. I like to throw a little chili powder in, but let's see. Yeah. I like to throw a little chili powder in, but I don't see any out here, so I'm not going to mess around with it. Maybe a little bit of hot sauce. Just Louisiana hot sauce, nothing special. Give it a little extra different flavor there. I usually throw a couple potatoes in. It helps you know when it's done. When the potatoes are done. That's just a opinion, but when the potatoes are like super soft, you know your meat's probably cooked as well, or at least, you know, somewhat cooked, pretty close to it. So I like to throw a couple potatoes in. Now once you season your rabbit, very simply, you know, you can see all I did was do some dry rubs, do some seasonings, put it on the outside. You can put it on the inside of the rabbit too, but you're going to want to take some lard, big old scoop of lard, because lard is rabbit's low in fat. Let's get a good scoop here. I like to put a good chunk of lard in there, and that'll help the rabbit cook. You know, help the potatoes cook, because you're going to fry it all. But very simple right there. You just use seasonings, lard, seasonings of your choice. You could even just use salt if you wanted. It's going to be kind of bland. it'll still taste good, but you can even just use salt. So put your rabbit in there, dry rub it, throw some potatoes in, you know, maybe a little hot sauce if you want. I like to use chili powder. I don't have any on hand right now, so didn't put any on the rabbit. Then you throw your lard in there, and basically, at that point, start your burner. And where's the lid here? Cast iron lid. There it is. Must have fell down earlier off the back. You can do this on the fire as well. You can see I'm using a Dutch oven. You can do this same thing on the fire. So just keep that in mind. I've done it on the fire many times. But basically at this point you let it heat up. You cook it about 20 minutes. I flip it once, and you know, we'll go from there. I'll add some more videos as it's cooking so you can see what it looks like. Now I will note that I said 20 minutes, but you know, obviously that's depends, because the lard hasn't melted and stuff. So I'd say 20 minutes till it really starts cooking. Probably give it you know, 5 minutes to heat up and all that lard to melt first when you're just starting up the stove. So just wanted to throw that in there. All right, so I'm just gonna let that cook a little bit. I flip the rabbit halfway through so that both sides get done. I like to, you know, maybe make both sides a little bit dark, so I'll show you. All right, it's really going now, you can see, guys. So and a lot of this stuff you can like the potatoes and the liver and stuff, you can also tie it inside of the rabbit, and that ain't too bad. So I'm just making sure it's not sticking. I'm gonna flip it over. A lot of people also like to make sure that a lot of people like to tie the back legs together because they tend to spread a little bit. But as you can see, it's a very simple recipe. You know, it's just lard and seasonings and potatoes. And I like to use a Dutch oven. You could also use a crock pot if you have electricity. I don't use electricity, like I've mentioned in some of my other videos. Rabbit's also very good fried, very good baked. Pretty much any way that you cook chicken, rabbit can be cooked that same way. So just keep that in mind. They're pretty much interchangeable in recipes, generally speaking. So about 10 more minutes and this one will be done. But fried, baked, I don't know what you'd call this, because it's kind of like a combination. You know, it's got the lard cooking it and it's in the Dutch oven, but this is how I cook it. I've also grilled it on the fire. It's real good. Barbecued, it's pretty good on the fire like that. Those are my favorite ways to cook it, but there's a wide variety of ways you can make rabbit soup, rabbit and dumplings. A lot of good recipes with rabbit, so you know, get creative with it. I'm sure there's some good recipes online too. Obviously I'm online, but I'm sure there's other recipes you can try online. If you're raising rabbits, you know, find out what you like the best. This is the easiest way, in my opinion, to cook them, and I really like the way it tastes. It's simple. If I want a rabbit for dinner, I go get the rabbit, clean it, you know, and I can get dinner cooking in like 10 minutes probably after I skin it and clean it. So, you know, this is just my favorite way for ease of making the meal. You can throw carrots, onions, potatoes, all that stuff in. I just used potatoes because that's what I had on hand today. Potatoes are a great off-grid food, by the way, because they keep at room temperature very well. As long as you don't let them freeze. In the summertime, springtime, fall time, potatoes are a great option off-grid. if you want some fresh vegetables. They're the best one for keeping, in my opinion. Other than maybe some squashes and things, but I'd give it probably about maybe 5 more minutes, you know, so maybe 2 flips, 3 flips, until you think it's ready. It looks like it's probably close, probably pretty darn close. One other thing you can do, guys, too, I got some flour right here. So once you get your rabbit and it's about done, this one's about done, you can see it gets a nice brown to it. But you've got all this grease, you know, this lard and rabbit juice. You throw a little bit of flour in there on it. Make like a little bit of a gravy. That's what I do. Mix her up. Basically, this is the kind of thing you mix, and you know, it gets a nice, sticks to everything, makes everything just, you make kind of yourself like what I call like a little rabbit gravy. You got some sticking on the bottom of the pan, of course, but the rabbit's not sticking. That's the thing. You make yourself this gravy with the potatoes and everything in the bottom of there, and it is pretty delicious with all the nice caramelized potatoes and stuff. This gravy makes the makes it tasty. It's a tasty, with all them seasonings and juices and everything. You can see it makes a nice gravy to it. Just thickens up a little bit. It's almost like a stew. I think that might actually be more of what you'd call it, a stew, because I don't add milk or anything. So, you know, it's a gravy, but it's like a kind of like a rabbit stew kind of thing, and you're making that gravy with that flour I just threw in, and it thickens up a little bit. And you don't need a lot of flour, just, you know, a pinch, really, you know, maybe a couple pinches, so you can put yourself that big spatula full of lard in there. And once you have it all cooked, you throw just a little flour in the bottom, and that makes that nice stew gravy in the bottom there, with all that good seasoning we had and everything, and nice caramelized potatoes with the livers and everything. So I'll get a good picture of it so you guys can see. Now, after I put the rabbit in the skillet, you can just put it on a plate or whatever. I take this gravy, mix it with the potatoes nice and good. Get everything off the bottom of the pan for you. Mix it nice and good, because obviously we put that flour in with this to make that kind of a stew gravy. So once you do that, I like to pour it over the rabbit. So I cook that rabbit. You guys see me cook it. Cook it all the way through, about 20 minutes roughly, 15-20 minutes. And then you pour the gravy on there. So that's what I'm going to do here. See if I can get a good viewing angle for you guys. It's probably a pretty good angle. And I don't have a how can I put it? I don't have a any hot gloves or whatever to use to pour this, but I'm getting it here, so should have probably thought about that, but not a big deal. Actually, I got a pair of gloves. My mother just got me some. Watch out, buddy. You guys are gonna laugh when you see this. Now, these aren't designed for cooking gloves, but you know, if you're bold enough, anything can work. So we'll see how hot it is. Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, guys, remember, I'm a hillbilly, so when you see me using yellow work gloves to pour this pot here, that's part of my brand, guys. Alright, that's probably good. Now I let Bailey lick that pot clean. He's gonna have to wait a while though because it's hot, but there you have it, guys. The stewed rabbit. Let's see if we got a good picture here. See, I made that like kind of stew gravy. Pour it over the rabbit with them potatoes, and pretty delicious actually, with all them seasonings and stuff. So now show you guys here. So got all this gravy, so it's kind of like a stew. You can see the tenderloin right here. You know, it's like chicken. You know, it's real tender. You know, nice nice white meat. You can see real tender. Alright, so now you guys seen how to cook a rabbit. You can also marinate it overnight, things like that, but this is the easiest way I cook them, and I cook them fresh, so that's just how I do it.